leader heading a team of cabinet ministers on a tour of the Grand Lucayan property. A man perishes in a fire overnight. And an impassioned appeal for assistance for a top academic achiever.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, the nation's leader making his monthly visit to Grand Bahama and bringing help and hope as a major announcement was made regarding the island's anchor property. Sabrina Brown reports.
Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis and his cabinet ministers arriving on Grand Bahama Wednesday morning, bringing good news for the island. It is now official. The government is in the process of acquiring the Grand Lucayan Hotel for $65 million. The government recently made a deposit of $10 million for the purchase of the beachfront property.
We've signed the sales of agreement and we hope to complete the purchase of this hotel within the next 30 days, hopefully sooner. We return to Parliament about the 15th, 16th of September, at which time I would give to the nation an exact report as to how we arrived at this conclusion, what exactly we're purchasing, and how we intend to move forward.
The Prime Minister says it was not the government's intention to take over the hotel. However, he says the government wants to protect jobs and preserve Grand Bahama's economy, and the closure of the Grand Lucayan could have a devastating impact on the island. Now the government will take over the Lighthouse Point that is currently in operation with 196 rooms and the Memories Resort, which has more than 500 rooms. The Prime Minister says the government does not plan to renovate Breakers Key that also has over 500 rooms. He believes the future is bright for the Grand Lucayan as there is great interest in the resort.
I've been informed that there are a lot of group bookings that individuals are trying to bring forth. However, because of the large size of the grouping and the number of rooms, I think only 196 presently available, those groupings are denied. But there are group bookings as high as 200-300 visitors that want to utilize the hotel services, but we don't have the capacity. But soon we'll have the capacity, and that would have an even greater impact on the Lucayan Strip.
The nation's leader says the government will only operate the hotel until a suitable buyer can be found, and he had some strong words for his parliamentary colleagues in Grand Bahama.
I do not want my cabinet colleagues come forth with their list saying these are my 10 constituents I need hired, these are my 20. It won't happen. So you've heard it from the horse's mouth, it won't happen. Don't bring the list. If the management accept the list, that manager will be fired. So no less crazy, no less Michael. All right? Don't bring it. We are not in that business. But as the memory is open, you can bring your list. Because then you would need more staff. But your list should be fair. Your list should consist of Bahamians. That's all.
Prime Minister Minnis says he would like to see Bahamians purchase and take over the Grand Lucayan Resort.
And I think the opportunity and the time has come for Bahamians not only to be given the concessions that are laid out in heads of agreement that are given to foreign investors, but the time has come when government take this bold step to give Bahamians even more incentive to get them in the hotel business. Examples are throughout the Caribbean. When you look at Bush Stewart and Sandals and what he had done with Air Jamaica, examples are there. And we would like to create our own Bush Stewart within the Bahamas.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
The full reopening of the Grand Lucayan Resort is expected to jumpstart the Grand Bahama economy. A fully occupied hotel will provide economic relief for those directly employed at the hotel and also create a trickle-down effect. Tonight, the Minister of Tourism is expressing optimism about the planned purchase.
This announcement has given Grand Bahama a modicum of hope.
Minister with responsibility for tourism, the Honorable Dionisio de Aguilar, says that the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Resort by the government was necessary to bring some relief to the island of Grand Bahama. The minister adding that the previous owners presented some challenges.
The previous owners decided to invest none of its insurance proceeds in this property, and they'd basically written it off. And so, at least where there was no light, there's a glimmer of light now. Now there's hope. Before there was a vendor who really wasn't motivated to sell. They had a line in the sand, which was 65 million. They weren't prepared to go any lower than that, and they were quite happy to close it down if we didn't sell. So the government felt compelled to step in.
Now that the government of the Bahamas has put down a down payment on the property, Minister de Aguilar says that they are motivated sellers and are still seeking quality operators that will make the resort a success. He notes that it's not the intention of the government to own the hotel long term.
Our function is to facilitate its onward sale as quickly as possible, because there are a lot better people out there who have the expertise and the knowledge to bring about the renaissance of this hotel than the government of the Bahamas. We're just a facilitator, and there'll be two trains that will leave the station at the same time. The first train will be looking for a seller, and the other train will be, if we have to begin exploring the renovation of the Memories program to get some more hotel rooms in inventory out there in the market, to begin to build scale. The number of hotel rooms in Grand Bahama has been diminishing over time, and this is an attempt to reverse that trend and to get more people to work and to get more visitors into the island.
Despite sitting mostly vacant for almost 2 years, Minister de Aguilar says that he was pleasantly surprised with the condition of the hotel.
It's not as bad as I thought it was, and I don't think it's going to cost as much as we had in our mind that it was going to cost. So that was encouraging. There were reports of roofs off and water coming down 5 stories and mold everywhere, and we didn't see that. So it's in fairly good shape, and they kept the air conditioning on in a lot of the buildings to stop mold growing throughout the buildings. And so, I'm encouraged that it's not going to be such a huge lift to get these properties open again.
And now that the hotel is on a path of reopening more of its rooms, the minister is reassuring residents that his ministry has a vibrant and dynamic plan to market the island of Grand Bahama.
We're marketing all of our 16 different destinations, and that's going to be the challenge. We felt that we had to build inventory. When you build inventory, that ultimately hopefully leads to increase in demand. When you increase demand, that leads to increased airlift. And hopefully that then has a downward trend on prices. Very much in the same way in Nassau. 2,300 rooms came onto the market in Bahamas. That increased demand. That increased demand led to increased airlift to meet the demand, and prices have stabilized.
Now, the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Marvin Dames, also in Grand Bahama today to tour the Grand Lucayan Resort. But that was not his only stop, as he and a delegation toured the new fire station on Cathedral Boulevard. The station has been completed since 2016, but needed furniture. While almost 2 weeks ago, the station received furniture from Bellevue Business Depot. Minister Dames says that he is pleased that the fire station is near the finish line, and it is a facility that will house not only firefighters, but police officers as well, adding that over 30 officers are now being trained to work within the fire and the police department. The station is expected to open sometime next month. An 8-Mile Rock man perished in a house fire overnight. Reports say the wooden structure went up in flames around 1 o'clock this morning. Italia Hall has more.
Reports are that around 1 a.m. the fire department was called to this area in Pinedale 8 Mile Rock, also known as I-95 Corner. When officials got on the scene, they found what used to be a wooden structure burned to the ground. Now, reports also say that the remains of a human body was found as well. Unconfirmed reports say the person is Stefano Mitchell, also known as Shaba. We spoke with some residents in the community, and they say when they found out the news, they were truly surprised.
He was one of the last persons I saw last night. I gave him a ride at a party right over there by a friend Benico. And when I gave him a ride, I tell him I was going so far. I gave him a ride as far as I was going. And that was that. I mean, when I get up this morning, they tell me this boy got burned up in the house. I couldn't believe that.
When I first heard the news, I was sad about it. Tears came to my eye because I have known him for a number of years in this community. And he was a nice person. Even though he had his ways, he was really nice.
He was the life through Pinedale. Everything was about Stefano as we know him to be. My relationship with him, a family friend, you know, always around the neighborhood, to my family yard. You know, that's what he was, a family friend. The last thing I remember him saying to me was, "Nisi, you can't let these boys play with your head."
Former classmate Ross Burrows says he was someone that the entire community cherished.
He will be greatly missed in the community of 8 Mile Rock, especially Pinedale, where everybody has a role to play in the community. Shaba's role was like the handyman, where he helped you any way he could. If you needed your car washed, any handiwork you needed done, Shaba was there to help you did it. He had his ways like everybody else, but the way he died was unfortunate and tragic.
Police are actively investigating this matter. An autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.